Welcome back to the John FOURCADE Show, sponsored each week by Veterans Ford. John, the Saints played the Dallas Cowboys, a team that they basically kind of owned the last couple times they've played them. I know they were the team in 2009 that broke the streak when the Saints were rolling really good at the end of the season, but Cowboys 2-1. And look at the Saints, 8 out of the last 9 meetings, they have won 4 straight in Dallas. And the big guy, Marcus Colston, we talked about him the last 3 games against the Cowboys. He's caught for over 100 yards receiving. They got to get him the football early and often in this game.
You know, Mike, when you look at this football game, a tale of two tapes here. I'm looking at 2 teams here. One could be 0-3, which could be Dallas, and one could be 3-0, which could be the Saints. But it's 1-2 versus 2-1. And you know, when these 2 teams get together, a lot of guys, because it is a close, you know, they're right there in Dallas. Here's New Orleans. A lot of our fans will be there. It's a situation where Dallas doesn't play well against Sean Payton's teams. A lot of guys step up. Drew Brees, Marcus Colston. Hopefully the defense will step up. You know, 4 straight wins against Dallas, 8 of the last 9 times. So I'm looking at a lot of good things going New Orleans' way. Maybe things are starting to gel for the Saints right now after the 0-2 start. We shall see. But you play against a Dallas Cowboy team, you know that guy named Tony Romo will turn the ball over.
One of the things, too, is I think the key for the Cowboys in their offensive attack is they're powerful there. When you're talking about Dez Bryant and Witten and Williams, but I think the key player for them is DeMarco Murray. When he's healthy and he's not putting the ball on the turf, that guy is a stud running back in the National Football League. Always was a really good back at Oklahoma. Couldn't stay healthy for a stretch there. But when he's healthy, he gives them another dimension. And if I'm the Saints, game plan right off the bat is, I got to stop DeMarco Murray. I want Tony Romo to have to beat me, not have to be on the field and Murray carrying the football 25, 27 times and he rushes for 150 yards.
Well, you know, doggone well, they want to give him the football, Murray, as much as he can. Catching the ball, throwing the ball to him, handing the ball off to him as much as they can. Like you said, if he stays healthy, Mike, they're going to be tough to beat. But you're going to see Rob Ryan's going to figure something out. Tony Romo will cough the football. He will throw the ball to anybody in any color jersey. He doesn't care. You know, Dez Bryant, you know what he brings to the table. He's got the speed and everything. They got to find a way to cover him, and they got to find a way to get Murray and stop those 2 guys. But other than that, I think the Saints will put a lot of points on the board against this defense.
One of the things, too, is the fact that Dallas's lack of a pass rush. No DeMarcus Ware anymore on this football team.
So like the Saints.
And so he was a guy, though, that I know he would keep me up at night if I was an offensive coordinator, knowing how to try to block him in some kind of way. I think a key for the Saints offensively is to run the ball. I don't want to give Dallas the football with a lot of time that they can put points on the board because of a lack of a pass rush the Saints have at the present time. So I think the key for both teams is got to stop each other's running game because you don't want each other's offense back on the field where they can put points on you real quick.
That's the key, Mike, is you know, Dallas is sitting there saying, hold on a second, we want to slow this game down too. We don't want Drew Brees and his entourage out there, whereas the Saints are saying, wait a second, we want our defense to get out there and then get these guys off the field so we can get our offense on the field more. I'm looking to see this football game, you know, how it's going to start out early. You know, will it be a running game from the Dallas Cowboys versus a running game from New Orleans Saints? If it becomes that situation, I like the New Orleans Saints better because I think the Saints defense can get to the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas got weapons, you know, they no doubt Bryant and Witten, and then the running back Murray, and then you got to throw Romo in there.
Terrence Williams is a really good receiver too.
If Romo is the old Romo at moments when he's played well, he could be dangerous. There's no doubt he could throw the ball and do some things there, but you want to be able to put some pressure on him. And you know, which team's going to get some sacks? Both of them don't have any pass rush.
Both of them are really suffering there. Yep. One of the things too is when watching game film of the Cowboys, they do an absolutely lousy job covering tight ends. And you know, the Saints, they want to get the football to Jimmy Graham. Yes. They want to get it. Now Josh Hill, who's really stepped up his game along with Ben Watson, man, these defensive backs, safeties for the Cowboys, they are terrible in the coverage part of the game. Listen, if I see it, I know Drew Brees, Sean Payton has seen it too. Right. Watching this football game, if Jimmy Graham, Josh Hill, Ben Watson, they don't put up a lot of numbers going up against a team that's really struggled covering the tight end so far this season.
And then on the flip side of it, you know, Witten doesn't have a touchdown against the New Orleans Saints. So if the Saints can keep stopping them, Rob Ryan will come up with some scheme to stop their tight end. Great, but you were right. When you got the 3 tight ends that the Saints have who can catch the football and do things dangerously, I just feel the Saints are going to go into this football game and score some points. I think Dallas's defense, we always say, you know, cover 2, tamper 2, and they like to play a lot of that. Well, nobody can cover the tight end. I mean, Jimmy Graham, there's no way they can do it.
And again, though, I think that threesome now that you see so much of, that they kind of use them in different areas out on the field. One thing that I think you see early on with the Saints is, man, they want to pump the football to Brandon Cooks. Yep. Now, again, how well he holds up during the season with a lot of passes being targeted his way is something to be watched or monitored as the season goes along. But there's good rapport between Drew Brees and Brandon Cooks real quickly for a rookie and a guy that missed a lot of OTA time because he had to go back to school.
Well, the whole key to the whole thing, Mike, is this, you know, if you target him 14 times a game and maybe he catches 8, well, the other 6 times, does he get hit on those plays? Is there segments where in a football game when you're looking at him, you know, catching a lot of passes, then they're getting away from him, you got to spread it around. He is not a big guy. We all know that. A little bit bigger than probably Lance Moore. I think that they want to get into football, but you got to be cautious. You got 16 football games, but he is a weapon that the Saints like to use.
Kenny Stills got involved in this game up against the Vikings too, so I was glad to see him back from the injury that he had. We'll have a lot more here on the John FOURCADE Show, sponsored each week by Veterans Ford. We'll be right back.